personnel be aware. Car leaving.
Just sit in the garage for fucking 15 minutes. What? 5-star secrets? Yeah, fair play.
You've just put in the fastest lap. Good job.
Ooh.
There's only one lap of fuel remaining.
Yo, JD here, Tiro Limus, and as you can see, WOR here today, and as always, I always keep forgetting which round it is. Last video was at Mexico and IOR, where I just made that mistake going off into the wall. However, my qualifying has been surprisingly good recently, where I've just taken a new approach to really just throw the kitchen sink every single time when I do the race, and just being a lot more aggressive with my driving, because each of these championships I can't really fight for. IOR, surprise, already won. This one I joined midway through the season, so why not just keep trying things different? And that's what I've done in this video. The recent patch just came out for this game, which makes tyre temperatures a lot more manageable. So I decided to really just go all out and just go on the super soft tyre, which is normally just absolute madness of a decision to make around here. And everyone else is going, mainly everyone else is going on the soft tyre, which is going to be quite a comfortable one stop. And looking at other people's races is usually a much quicker strategy. But I decided to really just get track position for a change. If I could actually hook up a lap, which luckily I am doing right now. For a change, just get some track position. Did a little bit of practices, as I always say, just quite difficult at the moment because some days I just don't even play F1 for a good few days. And on this one, luckily I've done this track before. On this in a league race, so I had some familiarity with the setup and everything. So I decided to do this, and then practice. I could go quite long into the race. Still would have to pit slightly earlier, but quite long. So I was just going to try a strategy and really just see what happens.
700 feet. I need to be very, very careful of what I say. I'm getting dragged into this. Come on. I should be able to hear your voice, not mine. Yeah. That was
Launch map is good, but we need to learn the gears, so go into each one when you can.
But as you can see by that qualifying there, went on the super soft tyres Super GT donated. So this is from the stream, so you may have already seen this video, but I will be doing highlights of this every single time. Decided to do this, and as I said, just try something different. Martin gives him some advice now.
I think Jaws is going to back the field up, and last second he's going to try and get as much temperature. I would recommend going very slowly on the set.
Martin's given me some quite good advice there, but yeah, just decided to do something different because I thought, although I'd be pitting earlier, it was only going to be a few laps earlier, and I could still get to the end. And I just really wanted to see what happened. So being on pole position once again, or for a long, long time in fact, I think since AOR Baku, we've got 5 lights now, waiting for it to go out, and we get a reasonable start. But Joe on the soft tyre has still got a pretty good start here. So we're going to leave us some room on the inside, which makes us go a little bit out wide. Just didn't want to make any contact at all. He's actually side by side of us, and now he just gets ahead of me, and that is not what I wanted. And normally the mindset would be to just stick behind him, be cautious, and just try and get him on the straight. But I knew it was crucial that we need to get back past him as soon as possible. So we're just going to run it in rich hot lap mode, going down the inside, going to him, which actually puts him offline, which is exactly what I wanted to do. Now his tyres are going to be quite dirty, to go quite poor traction. And this is the part of the race where I'm definitely going to be quicker than him. So I'm going to go try and go around the outside of his hairpin here. Thankfully, he leaves me a little bit of room. We've got Infamous behind me as well on the super soft tyre, which disappointing in the qualifying that not many people actually went on the super soft tyre. So all the quick guys on the soft were fairly close to the grid. But we go around the outside here, going to Spoon. and we actually retake the lead back, which is absolutely crucial for the race. Super soft tyres are really only going to be quicker for the first 2 or 3 laps, and my aim really was to try and stay ahead. If I could possibly break out the DRS zone as he becomes under pressure from the cars behind, that was really my strategy, because in practice, although just the limited practice I just had an hour before this race, I could still do pretty consistent times up until lap 7, until my tyres would really start to die. So now the plan was really to try and get away as much as possible and just see what we could do. We'll go skip on to the next lap now, and you can see he's setting the quickest at 30.7, which isn't really setting the world alight here. 6 tenths ahead at this point, but we're on for a slightly quicker lap now. Normally I was doing 30.3s, 30.4s, but in practice you normally pushed a lot harder. 30.7, which is pretty good, so we just gained another 10th on that lap now. And now this is where the tyres are probably going to start going off, but still being consistent, still well within in the 30s, which is really, really good. Putting away from Infamous on the super soft, but now we've got Joe behind us now, and this is where we've really got to try and keep the lead. If we can just keep the lead before the pit stop, then we have a chance of winning this race now. And hitting this curb here, catching some oversteer, and yeah, apparently I didn't have reaction, so there you go. That's a little bit of a reply back to my last video where I literally didn't react when I lost the car. But this time, kind of learning my lesson from Mexico, managing to get the car back on track and maintain the lead. But now we've got Joe right behind me, and we just got to just try and just keep this lead as much as possible. I was so desperate to get this. You can see pulling away from the guys behind quite nicely though, so we've got a nice little gap to third place, and I was just really hoping they would start batting. Trying to go into this corner, I was really hoping to get a really good exit off here, which we do. Get a very good exit, but the tyres, the softs are going to be the much quicker tyre at this point. So we just got to try and defend as much as possible. Go cover completely the inside. He goes around the outside, really trying to fight this on the inside now. I just don't want to give up this position at all. But he gets around the outside. There's nothing really we could have done apart from really push him off in that scenario. So managed to stick with him quite nicely though. You can see on the next lap, still within the DRS. So the pace, I'm very happy with, especially in the last few races. I know USA didn't go exactly my way. I think USA, Russia, I finished 4th on track in IOR, but had penalties. I've driven well the last few races. I just really made some mistakes and just through penalties really. So I was pretty happy the way I was driving. The setup was working very well. And at the end of lap 8, we're going to go into the pits this time. Could have gone for another lap, but I think my tyres are pretty much done at this point. But to be able to do 9 laps on the super soft tyre is, I think it's pretty good. I don't think too many people when I was practicing could have done that. So we pretty much maximised what we could have done. Maybe if we got the lead at the start for the whole race, we might have been able to still be ahead. But now we're on a medium tyre, which should be relatively comfortable towards the end. But a lap bolter tyres or 2 lap bolter tyres is definitely not a massive disadvantage, but definitely a small disadvantage in this race towards the end of the race. So coming across here now, just completed my out lap, and Joe's actually pitting on the next lap, and you can see how much of an overcut he's got. That's actually ridiculous, because the medium tyres, no, the softs are good really till lap 12, so he was probably still going, well, he obviously was going quicker than me on the lap when I went into the pits, because the softs are still absolutely fine, which Leopards actually continued, and Pinecones continued as well. Yeah, so he got an overcut me, but the mediums take a long time to heat up. They take a good 2 or even 3 laps to actually heat up, so I knew that there was still a chance to get him in his DRS. So I'm really turning up the car now, learning from my lessons that I did in the previous races. And as I said, probably a month ago, I probably would have just put it in lean, really tried to save, or really tried to think of saving fuel and ERS, but now I know the time is really to push, trying to expend the fuel and ERS as much as possible, because this is a make or break part of my race really. I need to get onto the back of Joe. If I can get into the DRS of him and then really be pulled along by him like I was in IOR USA by more so, if I can get onto the back of him, there is a chance to win this race. We currently haven't got any warnings at this point as well, so a very clean race. We're almost halfway through, and we'll definitely win DRS zone now. You can see the tyres the mediums just take so long. But we actually do. That is our first warning of this race. So a little harsh reminder that we really do need to keep it clean, because it's quite easy to get a warning around here. And because of that, we did set the quickest lap, but it didn't come up because we got a warning. And Leopard pitted 2 laps later than me, and he's actually overcutted me as well. But this is not what I want, because now he's in between me and OMG It's Joe, and you can see how much slower he is than Joe, and Joe is already putting away. And that was pretty annoying, because I was in the DRS zone of Joe. His tyres were still going to be heating up for another lap, and we could have actually, I feel, had a really good chance of actually attacking. But now we're being held up by Leopard because his tyres are stone cold at this point in the race. And there's literally nothing we can do. We can't really overtake him until really the back straight or the main straight. There's no real overtaking opportunities. Could have maybe gone down the inside there, but that would have been an incredibly risky move. But you can see how much Joe has actually pulled away just as a result of that. A bit annoying that he slipped in between us. So if we could have just got out in front of Leopard, then no, I think it would have been game on. Well, the race is still not over, because we are behind Leopard, and he has got the freshest tyres out of everyone in the field. I think Pinecone, who's behind my teammate Martin, or Verstappen behind me, he's got the same lap tyres as Leopard as well, so he could be a factor towards the end of this race. But you can see how much time we've lost to Joe. We've lost, I'd probably say we lost 2 seconds on that lap, really, as we've gotten it deep now as well, which is, again, not what we need, because we could have really, maybe possibly even attacked Leopard going to this corner. You can see how much time we've actually lost now. Joe sets the quickest lap, and yeah, because we just come out behind Leopard, we've just lost so much time there. But we just got to get on with it. Another 5 laps later now, they're starting to really close in on each other, and this is really where the tyre wear is actually kicking in. Just that lap older tyres, the 2 lap older tyres is really coming factor here. And I was just really hoping that they would actually start the battle.
What's up? No. Sorry. I've got a 6-second time. I'll try my straight.
And Martin there, if you probably couldn't hear, well, if you can't lip read me, I was asking if these 2 had penalties, because I actually managed to start catching up with these guys, because they have started the battle quite a bit now, which 3 laps ago they were 2 seconds ahead of me, and now we're back in it once again, and within the DRS zone. This is pretty much perfect. But now we've got Pinecone behind me, who's on the same lap tyres as Leopard. So this race is going, you know, considering the strategy we started on, it is paying off at this point, because normally I was starting the slower tyre, probably would have bottled the qualifying, got damaged at the start, and would have been nowhere near this. But because of starting there, as Joe has gone on the grass now, and he almost lost the car, and he's probably going to start defending, which he is now. And yeah, Martin's just telling me there that these 2 guys ahead of me haven't actually got any penalties. They've both got 2 warnings, which is the same as me at this point. So it is still absolutely game on. As I said, the strategy is really paying off, and I felt I drove really well this race. I said the last 3 races now, I've definitely been up in my game considerably, quite a bit more, just a lot more aggressive in my driving, just a lot more positive and decisive. But you know, we just got to focus on this at hand. But we actually turn in too early, and that is a 3-second time penalty. So the gloves are completely off now. We've just got to absolutely go for it, because you know, we've got to hope that these guys have penalties now. But we've got Pinecone right up behind me, because once I lost the DRS on Joe, just to the tyres, I was really starting to actually struggle with his tyres now. I got into the clutches of Pinecone's, got down the inside. Luckily, we're just leaving each other some nice racing room, trying to get as good exit as possible here, but his tyres are just 2 laps fresher than mine. He's just going to have a much better traction, and we're literally a sitting duck now, and no real point trying to fight this as much as possible, really. Just let him go. Hopefully he actually catches the 2 leaders, they start battling, and we've got my teammate coming up behind me as well. So I was definitely feeling the effects of his tyres. You can see through here now, just visibly, he just has more grip through here, and yeah, that's the only downside of doing the strategy I did. Just towards the end of the race, you really are going to be struggling quite a bit, but I really should try and fight for track position here. But we are on the last lap now, and coming to chicane 4th pace. It's like we're going to settle for 4, and what has happened there? Leopard and Joe have both gone off the track. We've gone into 2nd place. Pinecone is going to win the race. We come across the line.
What the fuck's just happened there?
And as Martin said, I have no idea what has happened. And it turns out that Joe and Leopard smashed into each other on the last chicane, and we somehow come second this race, 2 tenths behind Pinecone. I just have no words really. And you see the top 4, less than 4 tenths between the top 4. So that shows that you should never ever give up. And yeah, that race, if you watch that in stream, the support was absolutely mental. A crazy, crazy race because you never know what happens. I will be putting my mic on for future streams. I know how to do that now, so don't worry. But I hope you enjoyed this video. And hopefully you enjoyed the bit more of the positive driving. Really taking a bit more balls in my driving and the strategy I did. So hopefully you enjoyed that. And I'll catch you next time. Peace.
4 attempts covering the top 4.